There's two podiums up here to save time. I'm going to call two names at a time. Would one of you, whichever, come to that one podium and go to the other? Carl Mohammed and Christopher Knight. I don't see Christopher Knight coming, so if Danielle, Jolie, Danielle Hancock, would you please come up to the podium?
Carl Mohammed, I want to say, welcome team players. You know, after receiving the report that we got from the Palm Beach Post, and it talked about after 25 years and a state Florida statute, there's still a little advancement inside of the system as it relates to teachers being qualified to teach what the Florida statute says as it relates to the history of African Americans inside of this United States of America. And it's creating major problems for us because it's creating an environment where a lot of terrorism is going on inside of our community, particularly with the shootings and the other things that you hear about. And we all know that self-knowledge, it produces a different attitude inside of a human being. And with our children not being given the opportunity to receive this kind of information, particularly because that was a was an unfunded mandate from the very beginning. And then the school system as of yet haven't apparently spent enough dollars in order to have an impact on the lives of our children. And we are bleeding profusely inside of our community as a result of the miseducation that continuously goes on. I know that there are a lot of people that are in line now to be serviced, but I want to remind you that we've been participating in this activity since the school system has been incorporated, and even before that. And one of the other things that are affecting us, it appears that every time we have such conversation that our community get blended into a lot of different dynamics, like talking about us as if we're someone else, and no one really want to talk directly to the problem that exists with the African-American children. And Dr. Fano, as you was there, you heard of some of the horrors that some of the people that tried to pick this thing up off the ground, like Debbie Range and others who talked about how when they would take this kind of information to the schools in different places, the reception that they received was very hostile. And many times they wasn't even able to get that kind of activity into the school system. And you know, it's a shame that we don't have one child, I don't believe, inside of this school district that we have tracked, that we have, well, place some information that we can go now and do an assessment of that child to see if that kind of information is being transferred. And then the disturbing part was to find out that our teachers are not knowledgeable about the some of the subject matter that is needed inside of our community. But I want to say before I go, we have opened up the first educational hospital for non-immigrant blacks. It's a bookstore, and it's located at 411 Rosemary Avenue. And the idea is that when you get ready to call for information, if you need to send someone over to the hospital, it's 411 Rosemary Avenue. Come by, those of you who are on the board, and check out some of the information that's there to help to relieve everybody of the burden of what we're talking about. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming tonight. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Danielle. This is my daughter, Mackenzie. And I'm here to ask the board to implement a new unit in PE system, the Pilates and Yoga. And we all know the benefits of what Pilates and Yoga is. I own a Pilates studio. I am a professor at FAU in exercise science and dance. And I deal with a lot of women and men at all ages that have Pilates and Yoga. And with my young children, my daughter is at Omni Middle School. And I have a younger son. He's in 3rd grade at Del Prado. And I've been training both of them doing Pilates and Yoga. And I was waiting to see what would happen come to high school. But obviously, as we know, the sooner you do it, the better it is. I already see many, many benefits in my children, especially my 8-year-old son at 8 years old telling me, Mom, my ankles hurt, I need to do this stretch. My back hurts, I need to do this stretch. So the benefits far outweigh any negative to implement Pilates and Yoga in middle school. High school is too late. It is just simply too late. They're already doing to weightlifting and all these things. They already get hurt. They're already hurt, and I'm already healing them in my studio. So to see the benefits, and I have a lesson plan, I know exactly how to do it. I have a plan at Omni Middle School. Her principal has already agreed to do a pilot program there. So I'm just looking at you to help me as a guidance to make Palm Beach County the benchmark to start this in the whole nation, because this is important for our health, the mental prowess of our children, their body image, their self-esteem, not always doing group activities, knowing they can get on a mat and feel empowered, so that by the time that, you know, they're dealing with other issues, they have wonderful self-esteem. And we know what our suicide issues are with kids, and this is just only beneficial. There's no dodgeball hitting them in the face. There's no basketball hitting them in their face. There is no negative at all by implementing this. So I'd appreciate if you could help me continue guiding this through. Like I said, Omni Middle School is already on board to do this, and I'd just like to expand it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hancock. Mr. Knight, if you want to come to that microphone, and Kerry Jones Gallagher, if you would come up to the other podium here on my left. Mr. Knight, go ahead.
Right. So I got the Office of Civil Rights investigation back in March. It's now been 6 months, right? And I found the factual findings to be interesting, to say the least, which now I sort of understand why nobody is responding back to me as to how I disciplined my son in the classroom, right? The teacher reported to a federal investigator with the OCR office that evidently I spoke to my son during the classroom visit on September 7th, that I got up in the middle of the classroom to bring him to the bathroom and change his clothes, and that my son spoke to me outside in the hallway. Now, all those now, when I entered into the classroom, none of those students were doing anything except preparing for the classroom, so why in the world would I not say hello to my own son? I said hello, gave him a kiss on the cheek, and sat down. Then, at the end of the classroom period of instruction, I asked the teacher if I could simply change his button-down shirt into a polo shirt, because that is what the dress code policy that the school board adheres to. And the teacher said, by all means, go for it. So I did. It took 30 seconds. Then we all filed single line out of the classroom, and my son, while we were on in the pathway over to the art, explained to me why the children zigzag in a single file column on the little cement joints. That was the extent of my interaction, right? And that was reported by your own teacher. But that is not what the principal reported to the Boynton Beach police. She reported that I repeatedly disciplined my child in the classroom. She then reported that my child has been removed from 2 other schools specifically because of my behavior, right? And then she made it a point to inform them that I was a Marine Corps veteran to top that off. How in the world do you go from saying hello and giving my own son a kiss on the cheek when I entered into the classroom and there's not even a period of instruction going on? How do you go from that to reporting to the police that I've repeatedly disciplined him? Huh? I've been saying this for months, and not one of you have done anything about it. So what was the fallout of this, right? That bolo was posted inside of your elementary school by your principal or the officer, whichever one, in room 112, right? And then you decided to put my son inside of that classroom to expose him to this bolo, which apparently is covered under Florida State Statute 119. And you still do nothing. The only reason why you did something is because I requested the body-worn cameras worn by the officers that day that was there to investigate and protect my son from narcotic paraphernalia while in the other parent's care. And that bolo influenced that investigation so much so that they spent an entire whopping 60 seconds asking the other parent about the narcotics and spent 19 minutes talking about what a villain I was. That's what your bolo and your inaction have done. But yet you have the audacity to stand in this room and pat yourself on the back. I've contacted you numerous occasions and not one phone call back. Do something. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Ms. Gallagher.
Good evening, Mr. Barbieri, Dr. Fenoy, and school board members of Palm Beach County School District. I am Kerry Gallagher from Hammock Point Elementary, and I'm speaking as an educator. I want to speak about 3 concerns regarding the Grade 2 Palm Beach Performance Assessment that was scheduled to be administered March 11th through the 15th. It was supposed to be an opinion writing prompt, and each assessment has a number. So on our schedule, we knew that number 23 would be an opinion. Concern number 1, the standards for writing in Grade 2 and other primary grades are taught through the Lucy Calkins curriculum. Concern number 2, the Palm Beach Performance Assessment requires primary grade students to read 2 articles, take notes on those articles, and then write an essay using those notes in a separate booklet. The Palm Beach Performance Assessment is given over 2 days. The Palm Beach booklets, the Palm Beach Performance Assessment booklets that were sent to Hammock Point Elementary from the school district's printing department were incomplete, and the prompt did not match the booklet with the articles. I spoke with educators from other Palm Beach County schools, so this error was not unique to Hammock Point Elementary School. The third concern I have is the scoring rubric used for the grades 1 through 5 Palm Beach Performance Assessment. Teachers had taught the standards for opinion writing from December until February. Consequently, there was a 5-week lag between opinion writing lessons and the scheduled assessment window. At the time, informative was being taught. The Palm Beach Performance Assessment for primary grades includes 2 booklets, a note-taking booklet and a student writing booklet. The note-taking booklet, number 23, included 2 articles that were informative. The first article, which is read to the students by the teacher, stopped in the middle of a sentence on page 1. Page 2 and page 3 were blank. Pages 4 through 6 were for their notes. Page 7 had the incomplete second informative article. The student writing booklet, which had the prompt, which was opinion, stated, write an essay that answers the question whether it is better, which is better, gymnastics or basketball. Test booklets were put in teacher's mailbox on Friday. Fortunately, the error was noticed by a teacher on Monday, the morning of the test. Our assistant principal was able to secure correct booklets on Tuesday. Can I have more time?
You can have a few seconds. Yes,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
So our principal had to type the correct prompt. Teachers were to secure the prompt into the student writing booklet on their own time. The assessment was given on Wednesday and Thursday. Friday started spring break. I was told by our second grade team that this was the most egregious misprint from the county. Teachers rally and do what is right, do what it takes to get the assessment done without interrupting instructional time from other subjects. Concern 3, teachers have asked,
Ma'am.
currently the scoring rubric used for grades 1 through 5 is the same.
Ms. Gallagher, I think you brought up enough errors here that the superintendent staff need to address this. Now, obviously, they're not going to do this evening, so Mr. Superintendent, can you have someone meet with this teacher and find out how this can be fixed?
Yes, Mr. Alwell's team will meet with her right now.
Thank you.
The deputy superintendent will meet with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Pride, would you come up to, Edith Pride, come up to one podium, and Mr. Brenner, Joseph Brenner, come to the other? Good question. Go ahead, Mr. Brenner.
Hey there. Good
State
evening.
your name for the record, please.
Good evening. Joseph Brenner, Director of Organizing and Bargaining for the Florida Public Services Union, representing the supervisory, regular, and ECP paraprofessionals units here at the school district. Good evening, Superintendent and Dr. Fenoy and Board Chair and Board members. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm the Chief Negotiator for the union that's helping to land this contract with the school district. And I wanted to, at the discretion of President Alfonso Mayfield, introduce myself to the board. Some of the administration might not have yet met me. I've been the Director of Organizing and Bargaining for a couple years now, but been with the local for about 9 years. I've actually done some arbitrations with the union and school district, so we're kind of familiar in some ways. We started collectively bargaining the full contract for the regular and supervisory and paraprofessionals units, and we're still engaged in that process. I wanted to bring some issues, obviously referenced by Ms. Miller previously, that we're looking to land a 3-year contract. Obviously, economics are going to be something trickier in the state of Florida right now, and the union is aware of that. We're also watching HB 7123, the same as you are, because we recognize how much that impacts the work that is done by every member of this school district. We believe in bargaining collaboratively. I've been bargaining the Pinellas County Schools contract over on the West Coast for about 5-6 years now. I've had some help in Lake County with our school district unit there, and even the rinky-dink little, I shouldn't say this out loud, but Glades County over in between here and Tampa, I've had a lot of experience with. So I wanted to reach out to you, let you recognize that the hard work done by the men and women at the school district here. We want to land a fair contract. We know there's some economic issues to deal with, but there's also many non-economic work rule related issues that we look forward to partnering with your district administration, including Ms. Evans-Perret, who I saw here earlier, to land a fair contract between the parties. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brenner. Ms. Pride, would Ronald Laporte please come up to the other podium? Ms. Pride, state your name for the record. No, you can't sit down. You have to stand there, Mrs.
I'm going to stand. I am. You ready?
Yes, ma'am, we're ready.
I can't see that clock good. I ain't stopped talking yet. Put my minutes back, seconds back on. Okay. Good evening, Dr. Fenoy, school board members. A special shout out to my principal, Mrs. Renee F., who is celebrating her birthday today. And a thanks for coming to our school to Mr. Frank Barbieri, to Mr. Keith Oswald, and Miss Jamie Wyatt. We haven't seen you yet, Dr. Salzman, but we still love you at Boca L, and you need to get yourself over there. As a Trekkie, that's a person who loves all things Star Trek. Mr. Spark told Captain Kirk that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the fruit when he was dying in the chamber in the movie The Wrath of Khan. So I want to talk to you about the few. Boca L is the oldest and one of the smallest schools in Palm Beach County. We are a Title I school. That means that we have a population with a high rate of free and reduced lunches. Many of our students come from single-parent homes and inter-school never having gone to any academic program before registering for kindergarten. Because we are a small school, a few teachers perform many jobs that aren't in their job descriptions for which we are not paid for. Just had to say that. We also have students that have special needs such as Down syndrome, visually impaired students who may be on the path to qualify for EBD. The problem at my school is that we don't have enough ESE teachers on our staffs. I am aware ESE college-trained teachers are very hard to find, but we have a 0.5 college-trained ESE teacher that we may lose next year. This teacher is outstanding, and that is very high praise from me. However, we may lose her if we don't have the right numbers. What are the numbers? Will we lose her if we are 2 or 3 kids short? Yes, no, maybe so. Come on, people. These are the needs of the few. This year, the 11-day count will fall on August the 26th. And we have parents that won't get their by-school clothes checks until after Labor Day. Plus, many of our students will not enter the country or register until after Labor Day, and those students will not be counted. We have lost excellent teachers because of this count. When the district gave us back the units, the excellent experienced teachers were hired by other schools by then. We had to hire the sweet, new, inexperienced teachers. Yes, we were happy for their jobs, but we needed the teachers with experience and knowledge to deal with our students. High needs in Title I schools are different than any other schools, and we are all adult enough to acknowledge this fact. The needs are greater. The parents' participation is less. The students' academics are more challenging, and the behavior is even worse. Let's just tell the truth and make the devil a lie. Consideration has to be given to those schools concerning the few. If you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. And we need our 0.5 ESE teacher and more. Dr. Fenoy, finally, I challenge you to visit every school in Palm Beach County. And if you are, Boca L starts with a B. So you're definitely not going in alphabetical order. And so remember, pay teachers what we have earned, because you can't pay us what we are worth. Have a good one.
Mr. Laporte, I don't know how you're going to follow that one, but state your name for the record, please.
That's what I was going to say too. Good evening. My name is Winona Port. I am the lead organizer with SEIU in the county of Palm Beach. I have been working with the school district employees for almost 10 years now. I have seen a lot of ups and downs within the district, some good time and some bad time. At FASU, our members believe in the mission of the school district. They are playing their part in ensuring our children have a safe, clean, and healthy environment within the school district. Our members working very hard. They are the behind-the-scene workers. Unfortunately, because of the status as the hidden face of the district, it's very hard for them to be noticed by others, but they're there. What about our bargaining team? Every time we meet, our bargaining team are working very hard also to make sure their working environment is improved so they can perform their duties with respect and dignities. We have said before, the school district is the largest employer of the counties. The school should establish the standard for all the employers. It is not fair to have public sector employees relying on government benefit to survive. Nor it's fair to have the school district employees work in an environment where they feel that their voices are not heard. Our track record as a union shows that we have been a part of the solution, and we are committed to continue doing so. At this time, I just have to say thank you for listening to me. Again, my name is Winona Port.
Thank you for coming. Woodleen Pierre, please come up to the podium. Woodleen Pierre. Okay. Not seeing her. We have nothing else on the agenda, so unless the board members have anything, or the superintendent, I'll take a motion to adjourn by Mrs. Andrews, seconded by Ms. Brill. All in favor, all opposed, motion carries. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.